What is up? Welcome back to GameBrigade. My name is Brian. Thank you for joining me. Today on the show, we are doing another episode of Back or Skip, where we basically dive into the crowdfunding campaigns of both Gamefound and Kickstarter and talk about some of the campaigns that most excited me, and I just want to talk about them, give you my thoughts on whether these might be backs or skips and why. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get to the first campaign, which is Principies, and this one, look at that, video, like the website's not working, so let's go ahead and pull that up. So Principes is a game that initially interested me from the art alone. I'm not gonna lie, I am a big fan of the medieval art. I have family who's from France, and so whenever I visit them, we go and check out all the old castles and stuff, and this stuff's everywhere. So I kind of have a place in my heart for this type of art. But watching some of the gameplay and watching some of the reviews and previews really got me interested in talking about this one. So what is this game? Well, the core of this game is a war game at its heart. You're controlling for this area. I believe it's Poland. And each player is going to be taking on one of these royal families. And the thing that I thought was most interesting, the thing I like these kind of systems, is the pre-planned actions. You see, each player is going to have 6 available actions that they can take, which are right here, but you're only going to be able to select 3 of them each round. You're going to each are color coded, and you're going to be placing them into these 1, 2, and 3 locations, and the order will be determined obviously from left to right. So you'll be taking your first action, which will be one of these 6 available actions. I like that pre-planned kind of I don't know the term, programming, I guess you could say, where you're gonna, have to make decisions, and because of what everyone else is doing, you're not gonna be able to alter your plan mid-play, like mid-round. You're gonna have to wait till the next round to kind of figure it out as you go ahead and work to either eliminate your opponents and gain control and become the king. There are upgrade tiles, which I liked, which can modify what these actions do. Players will be playing, I believe it's a 4-player game, and there are some upgrades. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these rewards. Now, there are 3 different pledges. You have the base pledge at 95, not the base pledge. The base pledge is the nice pledge at 75 euros. This just gets you the base game. And the metal coins are a gift, so if you like that, that's pretty cool. The Prince's Pledge here at 95 euros includes an expansion. I wasn't totally feeling like this expansion, based on what I saw, was something I necessarily needed, but I would definitely check it out yourself and see if the content is something that you're going to play with every time, because then it's obviously a value. A lot of times I see people who get games like this for their first few plays, they're going to choose not to play with the expansion because they want to get comfortable with the base game first, and then they might not ever even include that expansion because they just feel comfortable. So make sure you look at the contents, see what they are. I generally will only buy expansions these days if I feel like I can integrate it day one, because it's going to be a must play for every gameplay. So check that out for yourself. The other pledge here is the King's Pledge. This one includes a bunch of stuff. Specifically for gameplay stuff, you're looking at the expansion that we just talked about, as well as an aesthetic expansion. So this one is the cosmetic upgrade, which includes 24 building miniatures to kind of spruce up the board game, make it a little bit special. I will say something about this that is kind of just an annoyance for me as a gamer. Whenever I'm buying an all-in pledge, I know it's all in. I know it's all encompassing of what you're buying. I want it to be all in of gameplay. So maybe do an all in gameplay pledge and then have these other things as add-ons that people choose and want. Yes, it's going to lower the overall amount that the company makes. I get it. But when I'm looking at this, I don't necessarily, okay, I actually do want that. Let me start over. I don't necessarily want a dice tray. I don't necessarily want a deck of playing cards. I don't necessarily need the card sleeves or the card holders. These are kind of extra stuff added onto the pledge, and I don't necessarily think it brings value to players. I know you're trying to make a overall encompassing pledge for people, but I don't think it necessarily adds value. I think I would just add these add-ons, and then also decide what is worth making, which is what is worth your SKU. They're trying to come up with ways to generate value for this pledge. I will say though, I am a fan of these enamel pins, but again, it's because I'm a fan of this type of art style, and having, coat of arms and all that stuff is cool. So I would love to have that on my backpack. I think those are cool. But again, I'm not going to spend all this money for this. I would just add it to, I'd probably just get this pledge and then take a look at what I can get for the add-ons individually and see what the cost is for that. Because I think that's probably the best way. You'll probably save a lot more money picking and choosing what you want. But overall, From that, though, guys, the gameplay looks good. There's uncertainty for retail availability. I like what I'm seeing here as gameplay. It looks refined. It looks clean. I'm excited for this one. I think you guys should be excited for it too. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think of this one. And with that, we're going to move on over to Sniper Elite Operation Kraken. I have personal coverage for this. I've done, I think, 2 videos for Operation Kraken, non-sponsored, but I really enjoyed this game. And in fact, I've downloaded Sniper Elite 5 on my PS5 just because I enjoyed this board game so much. I was like, I got to get some more of that gameplay in. So what is Sniper Elite Operation Kraken? This is I would say a 1 versus 1 game, but it is 1 versus many. I definitely felt like through my gameplay experiences, the 1v1 was the most gratifying, especially for the German side, because the way the game works is you'll have one player controlling the sniper, the other players will be controlling the Germans. Now there's up to 3 different German teams. You've got the yellow, the black, and the red, and each player will be controlling one of those squads. But the strategy really starts to devolve a little bit. Now that might make it more interesting for your player group. So I'm just going off a one dude's opinion on the internet, but I just felt like having multiple heads controlling each of the Germans reduced the amount of cohesion and strategy that the players are doing. They were just kind of doing their own thing, and you had to kind of talk in front of your sniper to kind of be like, okay guys, what do we want to do? Let's do this because we can do this. And it kind of gave away some of those options and let the sniper kind of play around with it. Now again, that's our gameplay for my group. You guys might have a completely different opinion, but I personally find the best experience I had with this was 1 sniper player, 1 German player, head to head, wit on wit, because that's where the game really shines. Now this game, continue. So also, the gameplay is very good. I was going to say that the base game and specifically the upgrade kit have been extremely hard to get. So if you are looking for this game's been out of print. I would highly consider getting it. But let's talk about what's actually included in Operation Kraken. So Operation Kraken will include 2 new maps, which I have previewed and talked about. You've got the Super Carrier as well as the Norman Village. Kind of completely 2 opposite like spectrums. You got the Super Carrier, which is really interesting for your brain to kind of comprehend of how the movement goes, but it's also very narrow corridors. You don't have a lot of room to move around, while the Norman Village is very big, very spread out, meaning you have to move a lot to get to your territories, which gets more opportunities for the Germans to kind of hunt and track you down using their special skills. I really liked that aspect. So that is Sniper Elite. I'm not going to dive more into this. I have a full breakdown of the coverage if you'd like to see that. But in terms of the pledges here, you have the Ultimate Sniper Pledge. This basically gets you everything. Pretty good value. I also like that they're finally including the sniper screen. I don't know what they were thinking with the original game saying, we don't think you need a sniper screen. I had actually used my Mind MGMT, which is, you might not see it. It's right here because we were playing it not too long ago, the Sniper Elite, using that player screen because we felt like we really needed it for the gameplay. But the all-in $140, I don't think this is that bad of a deal. You're going to get the base game, which includes 2 maps, all the Germans and the sniper. The Eagle's Nest includes 2 more maps, but also a bunch of unique snipers creating asymmetrical sniper abilities, which is really great. And then you have the Operation Kraken, which includes 2 more maps and more things for the German player to take access as well as additional equipment. And the Operation Escalation is additional stuff. I think it's great. So I think this is a great pledge. I'd highly recommend getting it. I haven't backed it myself, but I have the prototype still, which includes everything but the Operation Escalation stuff. So that's, we'll see. I'll see what I want to do with that. Next, let's go to the top here. We've got the Dawn of Madness Complete Collection. I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time on this campaign. I backed this game. This game has been a long time for me. I backed this game on Black Friday in 2020. My shipment just arrived like 6 months to a year ago, within that time frame, and it's only been wave 1. We're still waiting on wave 2. So I know the company that made this has worked a lot to get this game to the backers. They say in the FAQ that they are done with Wave 2. And in fact, they say that they're actually done with everything in this. So people are asking, will there be a Wave 3? It says, we've already completed game development on everything in Dawn of Madness, including the new stuff we're adding to this campaign. That means there will be no additional delay for Wave 2, which is great. Nor will be a Wave 3. Everything will ship at once this is done. So I thought, wow, that's really encouraging. Dawn of Madness is a horror-based game. So if you are a fan of horror, like true psychological storyline horror, this game might be for you. Ton of content, ton of stuff going on. They do have they have a bunch of stuff, like a whole bunch of stuff that you can kind of dive into here. I have the all-in from the original campaign. I don't really think I can go through here and kind of explain what I had and what would make sense. Just look through it and see what makes sense for you. Check the prices and all that stuff. My cost was roughly around here, but I'm not, again, I don't know where it is now. Now, they do have something that's really interesting, and I want to talk about this for the people who backed it. There's an upgrade pack, which is free for everyone who was part of the original backers, which is very sweet. Like, this basically fixes a lot of the problems that the game has, and one of the reasons why I haven't really wanted to dive more into this game, because there's a lot of just fiddliness, and I don't have the time to deal with games that have fiddly rules, not a good save system and whatnot, and that's what they're fixing here. But they also have a new Essentials one, and I went into this campaign with no intentions of backing anything because I have a lot of content already, and I said I don't really need anything new. But the new Essentials includes a few things that might be quality of life things for people who have this game. You're going to get the core upgrade pack. That's already pretty much included. You're going to get the save system. This is a full system to help with the saving of the game, to increase gameplay, to reduce downtime, reduce the overall length of the game, and it's integrated to play with the game in use. I think that's really kind of nice. Like, I'm like, holy shit, man. Like, that alone I kind of want. You also get some 2 new expansions. I don't really feel like I need more content, I'm not going to lie, and I don't really want to spend $120 on more content, but I do want the upgrade pack because I feel like it's needed for me, and I do like the save system. So I'm going to be seeing what makes sense for me to kind of, for Veggie. I'm probably going to back something here. I just don't know what. I want to get your guys' thoughts on that one. The next we're going to dive into Nexus, the card game. I've already talked on this one. I actually did a full should you back on that episode. So if you want to see my full thoughts, I'd highly recommend checking out that video. But overall, I've been really impressed with everything I've seen here. This game is a game where you're going to have individual faction decks. You're going to have an assortment of 15 cards that are unique for each of these factions. You're going to take 2 different factions, shuffle them together to make one deck. So each player is going to do that. And then you're going to be dueling each other in a 1-versus-1 duel to see who wins with the unique kind of factions and the different types of strategies and tools that you can make with those factions. One of the cool things I liked was the drafting system and how you guys play best 2 out of 3 games. I think that's really cool, where you all draft players, and you're going to play your first factions, then your second factions, and then you're going to play a mixture of both factions in your third game if you get to that point. Really cool, really nice. They have asked me if I want to play this game with them on, I think, Board Game Arena or something like that. So I will be taking them up on that offer. I'm very excited to see more about this game and see what they're talking about, see all the different stretch goals. Overall, I very, very much think that this is a pretty sweet dueler game. Now, I do recommend to, again, always pick for your player group what would make sense for you. And if you guys are duelers, or do you like those games that you play with a friend or your partner, this game looks pretty sweet, and it kind of gives you that trading card game feel without the overhead and bulk of what those games usually come from. So that is Nexus with, you know, yeah. Next game that I wanted to show is Agricola, and I really honestly think I might have to do an individual video for this one because there's so much stuff to talk about. There's a lot of different product, a lot of different pledges to review, and I just want to give the what I think this game deserves. But I want to talk about it here because we're making the episode, and it is one of the campaigns that that meets the timeline for this campaign or this video. Agricola is the original farming game from I think it's Rosenberg. I always feel like I mispronounce his name, but this game is basically a classic, and I have been a big believer lately of buying the classic reprints of games that I really like, that are mainstays of my collection, that are kind of centerpiece positions on my collections. So that's why I've got, you can't see it, but obviously the Castles of Burgundy, Teotihuacan. We're talking about another one later in this episode. But games that have basically gone through a reprint, reimagining, revitalization of an old game that still holds up today and just giving it a little bit more of a facelift. And that's really what you're looking at here. Now, there is an additional expansion. Again, I'm not going to be diving too much into it, but I am going to take a look at the rewards here because I think it's interesting to kind of see what people are pledging. So you've got the Family Farm Pledge. This is, I think this one includes the family miniatures. So you can kind of see, we might be able to see these better, but you have these miniatures that are right down here that are farm colored. And then down here, you also have the 3D animals and stables. I actually think these are pretty cool and whatnot. But only let's see here, only 819 pledge. That's pretty shocking. Here is the Awakened Realms basic version. Like, hey, we're giving you this game for a really great price. No one ever takes the bait with it though, right? 292 backers, not looking like a lot of people want it. This is the one that I was probably going to recommend, and definitely everyone else thinks the same. It's kind of that middle tier deluxe special edition tier, which is what I recommended with Castles of Burgundy. Same thing here. Even the other one, Puerto Rico, same thing, right? Where you have these games, it's like kind of that middle level, the just right Goldilocks pledge, and I think this might be it. You'll be getting the wooden worker meeples, so make sure you understand this is wooden, so no minis, but you're getting all the bonuses for the gameplay contents, all in like stretch goals, the nice wooden meeples and tiles. So those are things I think people are mostly interested in because they think they still want the tactile feel that the wooden tokens gave from the original game. You can go even more and get, a bunch of more stuff. We're not going to dive into all these campaigns, and they can go down here to the add-ons to see additional stuff. You can see they have the creatures, acrylic packs, play mats, additional player boards. So just so much freaking stuff. I will say the biggest thing I'm seeing of people upset about this is the art selection. A lot of people liked the original art, I believe from 2007 or 2009, that timeline. Very basic, very cartoony, while Awakened Realms has gone more with a kind of computer generated design here. I don't necessarily think it looks bad per se, but I know some people are very much against it, and there's also some discussion if there's AI art involved in this. So if it's important to you, make sure you do your due diligence and your research to see what matters to you. So I'm not going to dive into that. That's your guys' decisions and what makes sense for you. We're going to move on to the next campaign here, which is the SunnyGeeks 2.0. And I clicked like a button and it didn't go to the top. The SunnyGeeks 2.0 modular gaming table. I have the 1.5. I backed in their last campaign, and I will say you can see the table. It's what I use daily. It's my daily gaming table, and I very much do like this table. I would highly recommend this table. I have thought of like versus the other competition like Wormwood, Geek and Sun. Does this table match up? Obviously, I've only seen a few. I haven't seen a Wormwood table in life, but I have seen Geek and Sun in person. Really like the quality of their overall design and structure. The reality of this table is if you want true modularity to kind of build the table what you think will fit for your gaming style and kind of be modular in that sense, I think it makes a lot of sense for you. So I can kind of go through here and talk about what I have. Also, what's the best way? First off, I have the large table. The price is roughly kind of close to what I paid, and I bought this in like 2022, I think, roughly around there. So that's essential to know. I'm not going to go through everything, but I will say I'll give you a rundown of kind of what I have. So I purchased a bunch of this dumb stuff, mostly what I got these advanced player stations. I got 6 of those, which kind of lets you play D&D and whatnot. I have the metal legs, this cherry stain one here. I really wanted this maple one, but my wife said no. So what can you do? I also have the underground, like the underneath table, the topper holders. Really, really nice. I really like it. And I went with the Burgundy's Kiss color. If this is true that they're doing a purple color, fuck dude, I would have taken that, man. I would have loved to have a purple table. But overall, I also got this thing, the advanced GM station, because I at one point really wanted to, I wonder if they got rights to use the Coca-Cola bottle. That's interesting. I really wanted to do some more D&D content on the channel, but we haven't quite gotten there yet. But yeah, this is a kind of exactly what it looks like, what I have. I've got this D&D station. It's really nice. You've got the player boards. I got a dice roller. I got, you know, it's a pretty sweet thing. You got all this magnetic stuff that you can kind of include here. I thought this table looked really cool, and I liked the ability to kind of customize it to what fits for me. My table overall is mostly, I've got 2 cup holders on both sides, all cushiony burgundy pads in the middle and on the long run. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, yeah, so good amount of stuff. I like my table. Very expensive with the add-ons though. They do catch up and get you. The next game we're going to be talking about is our first Kickstarter campaign, and it's kind of surprising. Kickstarter just makes things so hard to like browse. I've talked about how I really enjoy Gamefound to be able to browse, see what's going on. This, I have to go to Board Game Geek and see, okay, what's the crowdfunding countdown for Board Game Geek to kind of find out what I like, seeing if there's anything there. And there was Inish. Inish is a really good game. I enjoy the Matago series of games. I have a version. I actually don't know what printing I have for Inish, and I'm highly considering just selling mine at the next available opportunity and backing this one. I do know, for any of you guys saying anything, I do know that they have this pledge here for people who already own the game and they just don't want this box, they just want the content. But I kind of want the box, I kind of want the big box, and I don't have one of the expansions. So I feel like maybe the game is actually, like, if you look at the pledges, like, it's not that bad. Like $75, I could probably sell my local Inish game for $50. So I'm, you know, obviously you're looking at shipping, you know, you're looking at $85 to $100 of shipping, but realistically I'm looking at $50, you know, after I sell my old Inish game. And I'm going to get this really nice box. It has a pretty good, I want to see the insert is like a tuck box insert, makes it really easy to kind of include everything right here. I thought that looked pretty cool. So that's what I'm kind of leaning towards doing this pledge. Now I haven't decided, but the time of this filming, guys, we got 29 hours. So I got to make a decision quick, and I haven't decided totally on this one, but I do like Inish. I didn't really talk about what Inish is. Inish is like an area control game set, I believe it's Scotland. I don't know if it's Ireland or Scotland. You know, you can tell me in the comment section down below. Someone's going to tell me. I don't want to say anything because I know I'm going to be wrong, and I should know this. I think it's Irish. Is it Irish? I don't know. But anyways, it's an area control game where you're going to be drawing these random tiles. You're going to be building this kind of unique looking board. But this isn't a game that completely is totally about just combat and destroying your opponents. There's multiple ways to win. There's kind of passive ways where you can win by controlling different types of territories or being in the regions with different types of, they're like temples or something like that. But the main play of the game, the reason you play this game, is the drafting system is so cool. So you're going to have these action cards you're going to be drafting from, but you only draft from the same pool of cards every single time. And there's one card that's going to be burned that's not available for each round. But you're playing with the same cards, and so you kind of get an idea of what's available in the pool, what are people drafting, what have you seen, what haven't you seen, so you have a good idea what people can do with their special actions each round. Really interesting gameplay. And then you have these red cards, these epic tail cards, which include usually like a one-time super bonus power card that does some cool stuff. I think this is a really good addition, a great part of the game. Really funky art. You gotta really enjoy it. You know, it's kind of funny. I don't love this art. I do like this art. So I want to make sure I know. I don't love this freaking 80s, 70s rock star hairdo. I'm not a big fan of it, but I am a big fan of this. I like that. And my original, now I'm kind of confused, guys. I don't know what to do because my original box art's not that bad. I like the original box art quite a bit. I need to make a real big decision here in the next 28 hours of what I want to do. But with that, we're going to go ahead and go back to my main big head. I did forget to mention that there is a giveaway going on the channel still. We lost a bunch of subscribers. So the giveaway is given away at 10,000 subscribers. As many of you probably know that are still watching the channel, my account got hacked about 2 weeks ago, and they posted some BS Bitcoin thing, and I lost a bunch of subscribers. So we're kind of down on the numbers. We need to bump those numbers up. They're rookie numbers right now, so I need your guys' help. If you're new and you're watching this, subscribe. But if you want to be part of the giveaway, you must be subscribed to my channel. Make sure you've got your public subscriber notifications on so we can verify you're a subscriber to the channel. Otherwise, there's really no way to do that. And the way you enter my giveaways is any video where I mention there's a giveaway. There'll be a question of the day hashtag that you're going to be answering. We're going to answer my question. Very simple questions. I just kind of want to know what's going on with your guys' backing habits. So today's question of the day of what game on crowdfunding are you most excited about? Is there something I'm not finding? Is there anything I need to look up before they end? Let me know in the comment section down below. And if you want the entry to the giveaway, make sure you do hashtag QOTD for question of the day and put your answer down below. That'll get you an answer or an entry to the giveaway. But remember, you must be subscribed to my channel, and I highly recommend you do public subscribers on your settings of YouTube. That way you can be verified that you're a subscriber. It's the only way we really know. But that's that. Overall, what are my thoughts? We talked about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games today. That's pretty average for the back or skip section. Most of them are pretty solid games. And it makes it kind of hard because I haven't been backing as many games as possible. You know, I'm trying to keep the numbers within like 10 or less per year, trying to set a personal goal for myself. And we got a lot of games that are kind of anticipating or are really high on my list here. I want to know what you guys think and let me know in the comment section down below. My name is Brian, and I'll talk to you very soon.